Welcome to the Cost of Goods Told podcast. My name is Connor. I'm a former chef, now a full-time media producer. I am here with the trio behind Weaver's BBQ. Guys, we've got a lot of ground to cover, and we're on a little bit of a time crunch because after the meal that y'all just fed me, I'm about to pass out. So, because that was a lot of great food. Thank you. Why don't y'all introduce yourselves one at a time?
I'm Jesse Weaver. I'm Pitmaster over at Weaver's BBQ.
I'm Chad Stein, and I lead our front of the house.
Awesome.
I'm Greg Baumann, and I'm the chef.
Guys, the food that we had today was ridiculous, especially where we are. Jesse, why don't you talk about where Weaver's BBQ is and kind of how it got here?
Okay. So Weaver's BBQ is in a little bitty town called Kenefick, Texas. It's 7 miles outside of Dayton. It's a really small town. I think there's maybe 600 people that live there. And so how we ended up out in Kenefick is my mom years ago bought property here. Her and her late husband lived out here for 15 years or so. And then I had started Weaver's BBQ out in Conroe. And my mom was renting the property to some people, and they trashed the place. So I shut down the business and came out here to start cleaning up the property. Somebody that was helping us clear the property let me know about the space that's available, was becoming available where we're at now. And so I went and talked to the owner of the property and worked out a deal to start setting up the food truck there. And so we've grown it a lot since then.
And guys, why don't y'all give us a quick background and then we'll jump back.
So it was November of 2022 for many years. So for 2 years, once Jesse started the business, he asked me to come down. He was keep asking me to come down because he knew my history working in restaurants. And he knew that he was onto something special, cooking really good food. And I was traveling. I was living in my van. Eventually, I was helping my sister in Tampa, Florida, actually working at a restaurant called Esposito's. It was an Italian restaurant in the Tampa area. And I wasn't sure what my next steps were after I left Tampa, and so I said yes. Finally, I came down, and that was back in November of 2022. Where we were setting up our food truck facing away from the road, actually, just like facing towards the parking lot. And so obviously it's grown considerably since then, incrementally. Little bits by little bits is what we focus on, is just trying to get a little bit better every day. And in not such a long time, it's only been a little bit over 2 years, we've been able to make some really incredible changes and some really, really rapid, incredible growth.
Chef?
So Jesse and I have known each other for a long time. We met on the West Coast, played in a band together for years, owned a property on the West Coast, sold that property. I went one way, he went another. I ended up touring with another band that I was in and toured all around the country, came down through Galveston, went through a bit of a tragedy with that band, and lived in Galveston out of my van for a while. And then one day Jesse randomly hit me up and said they needed help at the food truck. And I think he knew where I was, but he was like, when can you be here? I think I said like tomorrow. And made arrangements, figured out what to do with all my stuff, and I believe I was there the next day to kind of jump in and help wherever they needed help at the time. I didn't know what was happening or what their goals were. Found that out day one, and then kind of just stuck with it with them. At that time, though, I think it was, Chad was here, rolled out. Jesse and I stayed and ran the spot with the guy, Corey, that we had working there. Things kind of went a little wild, so we called Chad. And we're like, we need you back. And then it got even crazier from there, and now we're there. So.
Yeah, I think the reason why I wanted all three of y'all to kind of touch base or touch real quick on y'all's backgrounds is that traveler kind of aspect, that nomadic kind of aspect. Is this bringing back memories? The train? Sorry, like this is perfect timing. I'm like, if they're done with this podcast, I'm afraid they're like, we out. We go.
The universe is like, no, it's getting too real. No, noise.
So that train was perfect timing. So all three of us were travelers, homeless at points, traveling at points. Jesse and I used to hop trains. Which is why we all started laughing when that train started going on. We did not plan that at all. And then, Jesse and I traveled for like 5 years together, something like that. About 5 years together. And then I met Chad through Jesse.
Right.
And then Chad helped out on the farm a little bit. We come from a traveling background. I was on the road for 15 years about. Living where I could, if I had a van. Jesse's had a school bus. I've had a school bus. Chad's had multiple vehicles. So we basically just ran the circuit of travelers. And
me, much less so.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's how we met, is literally traveling on the road. Like I met Jesse in the woods out in Oregon, sitting around a fire, and he was playing guitar, and I think I had my washboard with me. I was like, "Hey, mind if I jam with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, definitely." I was like, "Oh, I actually play drums too. My cajon is down in the van." Hiked back down the hill, came back up, and then I think immediately, as soon as we started playing, we were like, "All right, there's something here." I met his brother, who's an amazing songwriter as well. So then we formed a band, and then just kind of hit the road after that. And then there's a lot more that we'll get into, I'm sure, but that's the gist of it.
If you look at where y'all are at, if you look at the setup that y'all have, I don't think people, and the background that y'all have, I don't think people would expect the type of food that was coming out of that trailer, to be honest. And that's not a knock on anybody. It's just, it's a hard truth, you know, but I think that was the one thing when Jose was filming and he said, dude, they're growing their own stuff to, add to the dishes. And, you brought homegrown microgreens to the last throwdown,
I'm pretty sure you saw me pick mint to put on your tray today.
Yeah, exactly. Like little things like that, and
we don't have to buy green onions anymore.
We
have enough green onions where we can do all of our garnish from our garden.
Yeah. And that's just insane to me, and then everything that was from scratch that's coming out of y'all's trailer is just insane, because there are people with 10 times the resources, 10 times the educational background or whatnot that aren't doing a quarter of that. So it doesn't fucking make sense, So
I think it really speaks to the power of intention. When you have a clear focus on what it is that you're trying to provide, and an insistence on a certain level of quality out of our kitchen that we do. We from the get-go, it was, we are going to do as much of this from scratch as possible. And that's been kind of a cornerstone or like a guiding principle for us. And so it really helps to clarify things. And as things become more clear, they become more simple, as difficult as they can be.
Right.
But to have that as an anchor point for us is I think a really important thing.
I think people think that that's an easy thing to say. It's a very hard thing to do, especially when you can get away with not holding that standard all the time.
Right.
It's easier to, all right, we'll just buy the pickles or something like that. And there's no knock on somebody who's buying pickles or whatnot, but you guys don't have to do that, And to be honest, I would assume that 80% of your customer base doesn't give two hoots.
Right.
They love what they got, but whether it was bought or it was y'all's product, the only thing they care about is it being freaking good.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you and I touched on that earlier in the back kitchen, where we were talking about all the things that we actually make that people don't see.
Yeah.
We're doing all of our own powderizing of all of our herbs and spices, most of them in the back. If we don't have something, we make it, including little things like paprika. Or, powderizing beets to get certain, use as food dye, and even to touch on the garden part, I don't throw the banana peels out. I dehydrate them, powderize them, and use them for fertilizer. And I think that probably comes a lot from our being in survival mode for so long. Yeah. We didn't have anything. I'll be the first to say it. When Jesse did call me, I had been homeless for about a year at that point. I'd been homeless in the past. But at that point, my band at the time had stopped. The singer got hit by a semi-truck and passed away while we were on tour in Galveston. So I got stuck there from depression, from not having money. So when he called me, I was full-on homeless, living under a bridge, out of my van with 2 dogs. And then when we tell people that, and then they see what we're doing, they're like, no way. Yeah. But then I get into my background, Chad's background, Jesse's background. Like, okay, that makes more sense, as you have this. You already had this before you were on the street. I come from fine dining background. He's worked in tons of restaurants.
A lot of fast
casual stuff. So we've told a lot of people that. And Daniel Vaughn kind of gave us the leeway to speak openly, because for a little while we were worried about people finding out that we were former homeless people. Just because of the stigma that's behind that sometimes. Right. I think we're breaking our way out now, where people are like, okay, that's a great story, and now we see what you can do. And the understanding and respect level that came from that, from our peers in the barbecue industry, is more noticeable to me, at least. Right. We were definitely worried about letting people know. And then Daniel Vaughn found out about our past and just wrote about it. So that gave us the leeway to be open and not scared to talk about our struggles that we had just come out of, or our issues that we had had in the past. And it's not like we don't lean into it. Right. But we're not going to hide from it, because it might help somebody else see that there's something that can come out of that. And we've been welcomed with open arms ever since.
Not to dog on the goodness of people's hearts, but if y'all didn't execute on the food side of things, that would only take you so far. Like, it's like, okay, hey, this is part of our story. Some people are going to gravitate towards that and be like, hey, I got to check this out. I got to see this or whatever. But if y'all's food wasn't what it was, then it'd be like, okay, well, that was a short Disney lived, like, haha, that was fun, type of thing.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. But everybody comes back, and everybody that I've talked to has just been like, it's well executed. Like, it is done right. And to me, it's like, if they can do it, fucking anybody can. And it's not to dog people who are struggling right now, and it's not dogging on anything like that. It's just that, hey, there is a path through. Here you have the opportunity. I just am amazed that it wasn't smash burgers or something simple or whatnot. Jesse, why don't you tell me how you learned how to, do barbecue like that, man?
Okay. So throughout my travels, I would come back home, especially around holidays and stuff like that, to see my family. My brother Gary, my brother-in-law Corbett, they would always be smoking some kind of meats. And so that really piqued my interest. And my buddy Vacancy, while we were on the road, we always talked about getting a smoker on a trailer and pulling it around, because his cousin had done it before and would like pull up in parking lots with a smoker on a trailer that already had cooked food in there and just throw onions inside of the fire, and it was ringing the dinner bell and people would just come flock to him. And so it was an idea that we had kicked around for so long, and then like Greg said, we parted ways, and I had some capital in my pocket I had an opportunity to use to turn my life around, really. And my oldest brother, Gary, gave me a place to land and the opportunity to use that money wisely. And so I bought that smoker on the trailer. I started cooking food, started going to the side of the road and throwing onions in the fire. And before I knew it, there's lines of people, and ended up getting shut down.
I was gonna say, was this just like holding it, like
I was waiting for him.
Ended up getting shut down.
Remember, guys, you got to get permits. You got to, till you get caught.
That's right. And so, man, that really led this whole thing down the path to. My brother got a food truck, and he was like, "Here, use it. This is what you need to get your permits to keep doing this." Here, my buddy Tyler came down, and he was a huge part of like keeping this thing going, and developing the menu that we have now. Why we're selling smoked meats by the pound, by the quarter pound and half pound.
Mm-hmm.
Why we're selling racks of ribs at all, and not just chopped brisket sandwiches. He really had the vision for it.
The carnitas.
Carnitas?
The pulled pork.
Yeah.
That was initially Tyler Cheddar Bills. That was like, he was like, this is going to be great, right? And so, and against considerable pushback where it was like, why not just a traditional pulled pork? He was like, no. No, we have, this is, trust me. And he did it, and he finally nailed it, and it was like, okay, cool, this is our pulled pork. Yeah.
And so, so Tyler and I, for the longest 4 years, 3-4 years of this, cooking briskets, watching YouTube videos from Mad Scientist Barbecue, Chud's Barbecue, Jerby's Barbecue, just like deep diving and researching methods, fire control, you name it, how to trim a brisket properly. All of these things, we've just deep dived into researching and bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other. That continues still to this day, where we're bouncing ideas. Well, the team here, we're bouncing ideas off of each other, but Tyler really knew how to run a smoker. He did it with his family for growing up, and like as far as like a stick burner. Because whenever we first started out, we had this Camp Chef woodwind 36-inch, and it would fit 6 whole briskets on there at once. And that's what we rocked with for like a year straight. And then we weren't keeping up with the cleanliness on the thing, so it caught on fire. And then it forced our hand, because the only other smoker we had was this offset smoker on a trailer.
Was that out in Conroe, or was that here?
In Conroe. Yeah.
That's why he's not allowed back in Conroe.
That's how we ended up in Kenefick.
The truth comes out.
Right.
And on the run. No.
And he can really sing that song too, so.
But yeah, man, Cheddar Bill, he was really inspiration for a lot of this, and a teacher for me.
How long were you traveling again? Sorry?
I almost traveled for a decade, 9.5 years.
9.5 years. Okay.
Yeah,
and you've been in this spot now for how long?
Since 2022.
Okay, 2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Kenefick.
Is this the longest you've ever been in one spot?
Since since I started traveling.
Yeah.
For sure. I hung out in Denver for a while. I was with this girl that lived there, and hung out in Oregon for a while. But other than that, man, I really just kept it going, coast to coast, as often and as fast as I could. Never wanting to miss an opportunity to see something new.
How does your mindset change, now that you're not only establishing roots, you all are establishing connections, because not only is it small town,
Right.
I can't tell you the number of people y'all wave to. Like, we're having a conversation and y'all are waving to cars passing by. I'm like, they know them too. Like, I was like, that's it.
It's horn honking.
Cars honking.
Yeah, exactly. So like, y'all are starting to put your fingerprint on this area. People are taking notice of what you're doing. Like, what's that feel like? Is there anxiety behind that? Is there?
At times,
Yeah.
at times, yeah. But for the most part, man, it's just
If all else fails, there's another train. You know, it's like we just close up shop and no.
Bulls here are pretty strong.
this line is actually the midnight special.
The song.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Special?
This
Oh,
is that
okay.
line.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny.
So it's pretty poetic
Yeah.
for
That's
us to
funny.
land right here. You know, this train passes right by our barbecue spot
Yeah.
times a day.
8 times. How funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty interesting feeling, you know, to know the past that we lived and all the friends we made along the way and people that are still doing what we used to and being friends with people that live on the streets and being friends with people. My contacts list is crazy. But yeah, dude, it's very humbling.
That's the funny. Sorry, that's hilarious. I think it just occurred to you how crazy your content. Like I saw it in your eyes that it just registered. That was funny. That was a very canon moment right there.
Yeah. It's like it's cool. It's like it's very humbling, to be honest. You know, like because I know that things could have went a totally different route. Like I could have given up, but I didn't. Like I could have just like stopped a long time ago and did something. I could have left again and just went right back on the road because I know it. But that's something that I think, like Chad was saying earlier, intention. You know, whenever I had started this, it was with the intention to stay here and continue and go 100% into whatever it was that I was going to do, because I was looking for a pressure washer trailer at the same time I was looking for a smoker trailer. And I was going to start a business, and I was going to dive deep head first into it and do that no matter what it took to make it work. And here we are pushing this thing up the hill still, you know, but it's not anything that I could do alone. I know that. Very grateful for my friends that are here to help with the weight of this boulder.
Chad, I think you and I were talking about, you know, kind of one of those pressure points where I know business is growing, but I don't think it's always been that way. You know, I think y'all started out pretty slim pickings.
Yeah.
I think we had a discussion about your first Cisco order.
Yeah, so when I first got here,
Yeah.
it was November of 22, we were doing $50 a day, $70 a day, on a good day. And
High five
yeah. Honestly, $100, fellas, we did it. And you know, just barely enough to get another brisket for the next day. And the a lot of that money went to booze also. You know, I think that consumption at the time was something that was holding us back and something that was active in our lifestyles. And so we placed a Cisco order one day. 1 week we decided that if this thing was going to grow and this thing was going to be real, because we knew that we had something, but we needed to take it more seriously. And we needed to really take a leap of faith. And so we placed a Cisco order. It was a very big one for us at the time. It was like $900. And they have, Cisco specifically has a minimum order number. They don't have a minimum like dollar amount. And so I think half of that was toothpicks to make sure that we had meats.
It's a number of count. It's the count
It's
number.
The count,
Yeah.
It's the count, it's not the dollar amount. So we ordered a lot of toothpicks just to make sure that we got up to it.
We probably still have some of those too.
Yeah, they're in dry storage.
Yeah.
And so, so we placed this order, and you know, like Jesse said, Cheddar Tyler was talking. We have to add ribs to the menu. We need to be doing sliced brisket. We started pushing a link at the time. It was our smoked brisket boudin, which is great. I'm really proud of that recipe. It's actually the first recipe that's in the cookbook that we've put together. The little thing document that we put together was the very first recipe. And yeah, so we placed this order, and granted, we're doing $100 a day on our best days. And, but if we were going to do it, we were going to take it seriously, and we needed to take a leap of faith. And so, both my parents have passed, my father many years ago, and my mother more recently, and my sister is really spiritual. And whenever she wants to feel connected to them, she says, Mom, Dad, will you please make it loud? And so, Mom, Dad, will you please make it loud? And she sees a butterfly, or she sees a dragonfly, or whatever it may be, and she feels connected to them. And so we place this order, and Jesse and I hook up to the food truck to bring it up to the Simmons. And I get into the truck, and I don't believe in any of this, but Mom, Dad, will you please make it loud, please? And so we pull up, and then there's the entire parking lot. The entire thing is filled with construction workers. And the lights that are on the road were being installed that day. And they didn't even turn on for a year, right? They just, the light poles went in that day, and maybe not a year, maybe it was like 8 months, but for a long time, there were no lights on the road. But that day they were being installed, and that week we sold out every single day. And so, and it was at that point that we were validated that we are onto something. And that if we continue to iterate, we continue to build, and continue to take leaps of faith, it'll be reciprocated, and then it'll come back to us because we're worthy.
Yeah, so that right at that moment was like a real roll of the dice. It was, this is going to hit, or this is done.
Or it's not.
We have to figure this out, and so thank God that hit.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, and also it kind of refocused us because there was a lot of drinking and in unhealthy ways and unhealthy behaviors that were carrying over from our pasts. And I remember one night it was that it kind of snowballed on us. And I just said to Jesse, I was like, well, the great thing about snowballs is if you start pushing them in a different direction, they pick up speed in a different direction. And so that was really, really a turning point for us at that time.
So has the barbecue trying to be as appropriate? I don't know if appropriate's the right way to do it or whatnot, but
you don't have to worry about that being delicate.
Okay.
Yeah, you
okay.
can speak frankly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask if y'all are sober?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went drinking last weekend.
Yeah, you did.
But that was the first time in a long time.
Right. But I mean, it's
probably
under.
won't do that again for a long time either.
But it's
That
under control.
Oh yeah.
So was that
way
not
more.
the situation before?
No, when he's talking about, it was just like, on the road is a bottle of whiskey all day long,
Slams.
every day.
Yeah.
And going to sleep with, making sure I had at least a little bit of liquor to go to sleep with, so that whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't die from withdrawals.
Okay.
It was serious. And before getting back here, I had weaned myself down to just beer, using Sidewalk Slams, which is a 40 ounce of malt liquor mixed with 4 Locos, which is high alcohol,
Yeah.
And so weaning myself down off of hard liquor onto those, down to just the malt liquor, from the malt liquor down to just 5% beers. It was a long path of reaching for sobriety, but not really being able to attain it. And then whenever I was first home for about 2-3 months, I quit drinking and cold turkey, just stopped drinking for a while until Cheddar got back down here, and then that's my old drinking buddy, and I didn't want to force him to quit drinking to be here because don't tread on me, and who am I to tell him what he can do? So it started again, and then it just, like Chad said, snowballed. and it was all during that point up until Chad got here. And this one night, we made $50 that day, and I was like, cool, I'm taking that. And I went and bought all beer with it and didn't buy another brisket to go back the next day. It was a bad point, for real. And I was talking to Chad about it that night. I was like, dude, it's just all snowballed. I mean, I was sober for a while and then, like, started drinking again. And that's when he said that. And I was like, I'm done. And then the next day I didn't buy beer, and I was sober for a long time. Yeah, a year and a half.
It was a while.
Like that.
Yeah, so I used to drink very heavily when I was much younger. I'm 38 now, and so when I was
look 38,
Thanks. I appreciate
especially
it.
for a heavy drinker.
Yeah,
Sorry.
So no, you're good. So I when I was like in college and in my early 20s, I was a problem drinker. I didn't drink every day, but when I did, I didn't stop until I woke up the next morning. When I was living in Austin, my brother and I would go out. We'd take bear fights. Which is an Irish car bomb that you chase with a Jaeger bomb.
Oh,
and it feels like two bears fighting in your stomach. Gross, disgusting. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, just like with the intention of getting belligerent. And many years ago, I stopped drinking, and I didn't drink for a very long time. I'd say over the past like 5 years or so, I'm at a point where I choose not to drink. Sometimes I will, but it's not on occasion, but it's for occasion.
Okay.
I'll have a cocktail. But it's something like, I don't know, like whiskey on the rocks, gin on the rocks, things like that. The conversation that I had with Jesse was about snowballs. He was very drunk at the time that he was talking about it snowballing on him. And then he came out the next morning, and I'm sitting there sipping coffee. And he was like, I'm done drinking. And he was. And so, am I sober now? I'd say that I am addicted to Weaver's barbecue.
I'll take that.
And so I don't know, sobriety's more in my mind, like a belligerence, a consumption of things. And so for substances, yeah, at this point I am sober. But in terms of the myopic, and like the totality of something consuming my time, my effort, my thoughts, my everything. I still am an addict, but I think that this is a much more productive way for me to be experiencing that.
And I mean, that's not an uncommon trait that an addict needs something addicting, you know, and you know, not to speak for you all.
It's only the three of us,
Right.
and so it's almost necessary to have. I wish that I had more balance in my life, for sure. Much more of like a work and life. But I think where we are with such a small team and with such ambition and such an expansive menu, I think at this point, I think we've all talked about where it's just, okay, this is what we have to do right now.
Right.
And so, but to answer your original question, yeah, I'm sober at this point.
And Chef, I know that, you know, and
Wait, you're a chef, so I know.
well, in our industry, I mean, it's right there,
Yeah,
you know, and I mean, there's more alcoholics in a kitchen than,
Yeah.
you know, anywhere.
And other
you know.
things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that, I'll be honest, that was my issue with the other things
Yeah,
Okay.
that too.
for a long time.
Okay. So other substances.
La Muerte Blanca.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
I do drink beer now. I had a real problem with liquor, as they can attest to. They've seen it many times in the past traveling. But I actually did worse drugs, and I've been sober from that particular drug. Starts with an M, for 5.5 years now.
Wow. Congratulations.
And that was a cold turkey thing.
Okay.
I got tired of it. I was sitting in my van by myself all the time, living in like Seattle or wherever I was at, sneaking, you know what I mean? Hiding that fact, from my friends, my family, everybody. That once I quit, like you said, I needed something to fill that. That got me real heavy into liquor, and that just snowballed. That was my downfall. Brown liquor was definitely my downfall. These days, it's beer. I drink beer, smoke cigarettes. So I'm proud that I got out of that. I'm surprised I got out of it because a lot of my friends haven't. A lot of our friends have passed away from doing the same
More
thing.
than I can count on it.
Yeah. There was a couple months, maybe 2 years ago, I think in like 2 months, I counted 14 close friends that had passed from overdose. And that just reiterated me being like, damn, I'm glad I got away from that. I had friends have heart attacks off drugs that I didn't know you could have heart attacks off of. And that scared the shit out of me, honestly. And so, yeah, I got it to where I drink beer. Sometimes I still drink a little too much beer. And that definitely gets me in trouble sometimes. But yeah, coming from where I came from, it's a huge jump. I don't have to hide the fact that I drink beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mom knows that I drink beer. She didn't at the time know I was doing the other stuff. Especially like, I grew up in Frederick, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. Bad things are prevalent in those towns. And it kind of took me getting away from those cities first to kind of realize how bad it was. And then through traveling, I saw my friends just wasting away. And that scared me to the point where I didn't know where to go get help. So I just did it by myself, literally sitting in my van with, I had one friend that I was traveling with, and he and I both got off. He was on one thing and I was on the other. We both got off of those drugs at the same time and kind of made a pact to each other, like just beer. And I'll say it, we were in Oregon, so pot's legal. So we were like beer, pot, and cigarettes. And I'll keep an eye on you, you keep an eye on me. And over maybe like 3 months, the cravings went away. I was like, holy crap, I can actually just do this without medical help. I don't have to go to a hospital right now.
Right.
Because it scared the hell out of me watching my friends go through it. It sucks that that's what it took. But that's all I had. You know what I mean? I didn't have health insurance to go get help. I didn't know who to talk to get help for that stuff. So unfortunately, it took my friends passing away around me to be like, oh, shit, I can't do that. I have kids. I have 2 children. They travel the world with their mom. I was like, I can't do that to them. You know what I mean? And it scared me out of it, thank God. Because I actually just had a friend pass away a couple weeks ago from the same drug that I was doing. And it, again, reiterated, thank God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank God I had the support of at least one friend and the thoughts of my children to just be like, I'm done. You know what I mean? And, yeah. So when Jesse called me, I was homeless. So that's 10 months from November.
Yeah,
I got here in November. Yeah,
10 months. Yeah.
Yeah, because my brain was so jumbled that I didn't even know. I thought I'd
Yeah, he was
like
last
a year
time
and a half.
on the
He was
porch,
like, "No, you haven't."
What are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure I've been here a year and a half. He was like, "Did you got here in November?" I was like, yeah, sorry.
The hours you're working, it feels like a year and a half, but
And also Houston weather.
yeah,
right?
that's true too.
You got
That
here and it was
heat.
hot.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember it being hot when I got here. And he was like, dude, it's always hot. What are you
February.
talking
What are you
about?
talking about?
And to me, I'm from the north. He's from the north.
Yeah, I'm from
So if
Philadelphia.
it's 65
okay.
down here, that's hot.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's we're used to like 30-degree temperature
In November?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was hot when I got here. It had to be like August or something. He was like, dude, it was November.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, we're in Texas. I keep forgetting, the difference in that temperature range.
Well, I really appreciate all 3 of y'all opening up about that.
Yeah.
It means a lot. I know that there are listeners who are probably struggling with some stuff.
100%.
Well, it means a lot to. I think it means a lot to all of us to talk about it.
That's-
right. That's part of like
Healing.
that's part of the healing process.
Yeah, it's just hard, because it's hard, like you said, to expose that side of you to Daniel Vaughn, and for y'all to open up even further with me. It means a lot to me that y'all are doing that, and I really appreciate that. I also have to give y'all huge props in the fact that it's like y'all are kind of in the belly of the beast, where it is real easy that
Very easy.
We could just smoke a couple briskets. We could half-ass this. We could probably get by, fall back into some habits. From what I've seen and from the conversations that we've had on and off camera, you guys are pushing. You guys are moving forward, which it's like, holy shit, you're not letting all of this pull you back when I'm sure it's a heavy fucking anchor. All the little details that I saw, because Jose and I've filmed in a lot of places, and I can tell when someone's putting on a show. I can look when you open the refrigerator, and I'm looking at that little plastic piece there, like the ceiling thing, and it's like, if that's clean, I know homeboy's paying attention. The little notes in the kitchen, the way y'all talk to each other, like all of that is like, holy shit, if I'm betting on a horse, I'm betting on this horse. You know, it's the things that other people aren't going to see. It's people who, you know, have been in the industry that know, like, the little details that I think go unnoticed by 99% of things. You guys are nailing it. All the little notes in the back that you had, how your Bain Maries were all organized. You could get away. You got even more space that you could get away with just throwing shit everywhere. Y'all are taking care of home. And I think that it's taking care of y'all.
Yep.
So I love that for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
Well,
Finally.
well, I hope more people start to see that, because y'all are making a mark with the stuff that y'all are doing. You're making a mark with the food and things, but it's also operationally. Chad, I will say your hospitality from everything that I've seen is bar none some of the best.
Thank you.
In the nation.
Yeah.
You know,
I've literally, so I come from a very fine dining background. And I tell everybody, like, I've worked with maitre d's all across the country. This guy, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The fact that he can remember every single person's name,
Yeah.
their kid's name,
Yeah.
their kid's football team, like what their kids are doing. I'm like, dude, I wish I had a quarter of that memory.
Let alone you're not from here. You know, like, it's not like these are old friends and things like that. This is a relatively new group to you that, like, you were talking about church service and to one of the kids, you know, and I was like, he knows the difference between the good church service and the bad church service. Like, what the hell? Like, wait a second, you know, like,
You know, just like Jesse focuses on the smoking the meats a very particular way, and Greg is, you know, focusing and making sure that we're cutting our pieces of tape, right? I think that it's equally
Took a while
important
to get to.
Yeah, well, we're there, right? And
to all the people that I bitched about it, even he's doing it. All right. So, like, I'm not the only psycho.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, use your ruler, cut your tape. And so, you know, those little details, and there's the human side of this, right? Going out to eat is a luxury. It is people's miscellaneous income, which can go to so many different things. There are so many different places for people to go to eat. And, oh my God, you choose our place. Thank you so much. And so that sort of focus on the human aspect of things is really, really important to me. And also, I just enjoy our guests, and, like, genuinely, it, like, gives me energy to enjoy conversations with them. And so it's as much for the business as it is for me.
I felt like you were the embodiment of the Unreasonable Hospitality book. So have you read that?
I haven't.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. Like that, you are that book, you know, like you are going above and beyond for every customer. And like I said, where y'all are situated, even in just barbecue in general, you could half-ass half this stuff, if not even more of this stuff, and get by and do pretty good, you know? But for you guys not to, from how you're taking the order to the plate presentation to how you just wrap those sandwiches. I was watching that. I was like,
I noticed.
That's not, he noticed. He saw me look.
I moved my arms specifically so you could see it.
So I could see the perfect height,
like,
you know.
"Here you go, chef."
So I think that a lot of it really you said that we could get away with just doing it as simply as possible and just, like, cutting corners and but for the longest time building this thing out here before the buildings, but when it was just a food truck, we couldn't just get away with it. We were up against locals that didn't want another barbecue restaurant in Kenefick,
Okay.
and that weren't really willing to give the new kids on the block a try because they already know somewhere else. And so I think that us putting the intention of differentiating ourselves across the board, making our own everything, to draw in a customer base that wasn't here,
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with the success that we're having now. That was the foundation. All of it was, okay, well, we can't reach our local group. We have to do something to reach further out.
Right.
And now we're no longer on a local level playing field.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. It's really cool to know that whenever we're putting some intention behind what we're doing, that it's reciprocated and people see it and want it, and it just gives us some validation that we're on the right path.
I think the other part about the food side of things, the carnitas, it's a homage to the original recipe with some twist to it, but the steps that it took and the final product that I tasted, someone did their research. Someone spent some time to put this together. This wasn't something you came up with last night. Like, I'll give huge credit to the guys at Rosemeyer, where they're like, oh, we just thought we'd do this. Holy shit, can they execute? It pisses me off. It makes me so mad, and I've told them this.
Me too.
That they could be like, oh, we just decided to do some sort of crazy ice cream. I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's got to have crystallization or something like that. And then they put it in front of me. I'm like, I hate y'all. I love y'all like a big brother, and like your little brother's starting to beat you, everything that we tasted, Jose and I were going through it, and not to pick at y'all's food more than anybody else's, but I was really surprised at the nuances of everything. Like, the beans still had structure, and they had been sitting there a while because,
Photos
plated
and
those
video.
in,
yeah. Brisket was on point, especially after oxidation and things like that or whatnot. Sausage was snappy. The pork ribs were just porky pork. I love that. And y'all do the ribs on the direct or over the direct heat, or y'all do that in the
So it's interesting. This smoker, if you watch on the what Jose filmed last time, the smoker that we were having worked on, it's an offset smoker, but it's a smaller chamber, and the fire shoots straight up into right at this one spot on the smoker, right? And so it's 2 layers on the smoker, and for the first part of the smoke, it's on the lower level, so it's getting good color, and it's presentation side up, and so that presentation side is getting really good color, and then after a few hours, once it hits the right color that I'm looking for, I'll flip it over and put it up on top. And then that gets it. It's not direct heat because there's not fat dripping down into the fire.
right.
Into the
But the temperature difference between that lower chamber and the upper chamber is 50 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely 50.
Okay.
It's crazy. That's
exactly 50.
Yeah, this dude, Mr. Aaron, man, he rocks. He hit the nail on the head with that smoker, man. He did exactly what it needed.
This was somebody who came out and welded it, because the original chamber, I think you had shown me where that was, needed to be.
Yeah, he's one of our guests. And he was just, he's a welder, so he's like, if y'all need anything, so Jesse showed him the smoker.
Actually,
we do. We have this smoker in the back that we can't really use right now.
Well, it was just randomly one day. I was like, Mr. Aaron, what do you do for work? Right? Because he was complaining about his day. He was like, I'm a welder. I was like, have you ever worked on smokers before? He was like, yeah, a couple times. Right? He's a real soft smoking guy. We love Mr. Aaron.
Yeah.
And Jesse was up in the front with me. And he was like, hey, do you mind taking a look at this thing? Because we bought that second offset off of Facebook Marketplace, and it wasn't right. It was we got a really good deal on it for a reason.
You got what you paid for.
I think we used it twice, and we were like, this
isn't, we can't use this.
Yeah, so there's 2 doors on this smoker, And on the right door, closest to the smokestack, there's 2 levels and 2 doors. So on the right side, on the bottom level of this smoker, it didn't get any smoke, any heat at all.
Yeah, it's just dead space.
So yeah, it was just a dead space, and like it just was heartbreaking, to be honest. It's like we're like, man, this is gonna be great. We've got another offset smoker. We can split up our smoke because we're doing 2 smokes in a day. And so still haven't developed a new system for the smoke yet, but I think we'll get around to it. And even if we don't develop a different system, which we've gotten 3 cooks in on it. Those ribs were cooked on that smoker. And the brisket today was cooked on that smoker.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It was on point for first week of using that bad boy. Because for those who aren't familiar with barbecue, smokers can be temperamental as fuck. You know, firebox management and that flow, because it can wildly differentiate. And I think we were talking earlier, you know, a lot of guys are, to save on labor and to save on time, are moving to the rotisserie.
Right.
They're pulling out a great product, but the nuance of these offsets, each one to their own.
So that's something that craft barbecue now, a lot of people credited to Aaron Franklin, right? Because of his bringing it back home from, there's been throughout the history of barbecue, right? It really started out with German people in Texas creating the offset smoker, and Jewish people seeing German people throwing away briskets, and they're like, "Oh, that's one of the best meat." And then they combined the idea, and that was like how Texas style brisket was born.
I can assure you, as a Jewish man,
I was waiting
that we do eat brisket during the high holidays, and it doesn't taste nearly as good as Texas style. And so, very glad I found.
There's a time and a place for it.
You know, in an oven on Yom Kippur. Okay?
No, but so for it went through this like phase where they were trying to automate it, right? That's I'm pretty sure how rotisserie smokers were invented, was to try to automate and make the system easier.
Right.
But doing that, taking the easy route, you sacrifice quality, right? And so it's so important for those little subtle nuances you're talking about, to use an offset smoker to get that result that you really can't get any other way.
To bring it back to something that you were talking about earlier, you know, we say all the time that the flavor is in the details. And so never cutting any corners or making sure that we're smoking meats properly or focusing on the guest experience. It's in those little details that we try and really, really focus on, because they're easy to overlook. It's so easy to overlook them. But when you don't, man, does it make a huge difference.
I was trying to think back to like everything that we ate, and that burnt end brownie. That worked. Yeah. I was so skeptical on that. I hate to say it, like the whole time you were talking about it, I was like, bull. You know, like in my head, I was like, no way.
That's a real thing.
And then I took a bite into it. I was like, come on, get out. A brownie on the smoker.
Chocolate covered bacon's a thing, right? And so
but it's not a good thing.
It's not necessarily,
mind, you know. Like, sorry,
and it's a thing, right? And so when you take, so chocolate covered bacon's a thing.
He's gonna try and explain it, and you're gonna say bull. When you're listening to this, I promise you, give it a try.
And I got a cramp. But so you knowing that there is a place for bacon covered in chocolate, how do you create and apply that principle to something that's barbecue related? And Jesse, really, really with like obviously smoking meats, but like comfort foods, right? Man, the guy. Did you try the biscuits and gravy today?
No, we didn't have that. So okay. We're coming back for that.
Right. And so
we're coming back for a lot. All right.
That's a work in progress.
Okay.
But the brownie burn ends, that's been an idea that we've had kicking around for a very long time. we finally got the recipe right at the Houston Barbecue Throwdown.
Okay.
It hasn't been right. Because initially we wanted a drier brownie, so because the bacon grease was gonna get into the brownie, and then Jesse was like, "No, let's just do like this really decadent fudge brownie. Let's wrap it in bacon. Let's pepper it." And what we did, just more than just pepper.
We
it was,
tried. We ran different.
ways.
We did test runs on it that night while we had 600 brownie burnt in, right?
Literally the night before.
Yeah, so we're sitting there using a big old pizza cutter to cut these 24-inch by 12-inch sheets of brownie, so while doing that, there was a bunch of brownie crumbs that were left on the cutting board. Scraped all those into a quart, and then set them to the side, and just kept on the process of wrapping all these things in bacon. And then, so looking at that, those brownie crumbs next to 16 mesh black pepper, like maybe we can use that in place of pepper to kind of mimic the pepper look. But so we tried with pepper, with that brownie crumbs, and just neither. That didn't look right with the brownie crumbs, and it didn't look right without the pepper either, and with the pepper, it looked just like a burnt end.
is it cake or is it
really?
They were undercooked.
Yeah, very much so, right?
That night they were undercooked, so the bacon wasn't rendered properly, and so I knew the process for the morning cook, whenever I was going to cook all of them, was going to be a 0 to 300 method to render all the bacon properly, and to where it was just a bite through. And it was just spot on, perfect. We finally nailed it.
And then
It's been years. That's been years we've been working on that.
That's awesome. It was really
we found
good.
another place for those brownie crumbs. So the crumbs that, because the sheets like don't fit perfectly, so we take those crumbs and Greg makes it's not a mousse, it's a gelée.
Okay.
But we call it a mousse on the menu.
Right.
And it's finished with those smoked brownie bites. That's the garnish on there.
Badass.
Yeah.
Waste not one.
I was gonna say, I think that really comes through in a lot of the food. I mean, it seems like y'all are utilizing every product that you can, either the meats or the produce that y'all are utilizing, the space that y'all have. I mean, you've got a decent little garden going.
Yeah.
In
That's all scraps from the tops of beets or
Cantaloupe
seeds. That's all stuff that I was or would be throwing away. And I was like, let's just toss it in some dirt and see what happens. And then with the Texas air and sun and stuff, it just took off. And I was like, all right, this is what we do from now on.
Yeah. A lot of our veggie scraps or meat scraps from like ribs or stuff like that, we'll throw the meat scraps onto the smoker, get it all smoked up, and then we'll use all the veggie scraps and all those smoked meats, and just like throw it all in a pot and make our own stock for those beans that y'all had today.
Yeah.
Was a smoked stock that we made ourselves.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Got it cooked down to where it's gelatinous.
Yeah, we're making demi and all that stuff out of what most people toss.
So to me, not having worked in barbecue, having played around with it or whatnot, smoke is a pretty finicky, quote unquote, ingredient, or something to work with. You have been utilizing smoke. How has that like changed you as a chef?
It's definitely opened me up to a whole entire flavor profile that I had never had thought. Like in fine dining, we'd use like a tiny little box smoker or something.
Right, yeah.
Just to like kiss something with. I had never smoked a bread pudding before. I'd made bread pudding since I was 12 years old. Pretty much the same recipe. And then when I first started here, I think we had the butt ends of bread from the front trailer from Texas toast and all that. Mm-hmm. So he's like, "Is there anything you can do with that?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's just do some bread pudding." But we don't have an oven. Now we have a little tiny oven.
We had that catering, remember? I want to say it was Robert's mom.
Yeah.
She was like, "Can y'all do the bread pudding?"
Oh yeah.
You know how to make bread pudding?
Yeah, and I was like,
Actually, I got a really good recipe.
Of course he does. Yes, of course he does.
But I'd never tried it smoked.
Right. Yeah.
And we don't have an oven.
We don't have an oven. Now we have a little baby oven. It holds a quarter sheet. But
So easy bake.
I just threw it on the oven while he was smoking all his stuff, and we tried it, and we're like, holy crap.
But if you're able to bake
We're
in an
on
oven at 300 degrees, why can't you use the smoker for the same purpose?
Right, yeah.
You can. The only thing is like I can save a dish with like cream and butter.
Correct.
You know, like if I f something up and it's like, oh, but easy. You know, like oh, I need to bring this sauce back. You know, cream and butter.
Charred onion.
You screw it up with smoke. That's in there.
It's
you know,
easy.
if it's
You know,
not
toss
enough,
it
people
in.
are going to be like, why the hell? Like, because there was enough smoke on those brownies that it was like, okay, there's smoke in there. It wasn't just baked, you know, like, so not to discount what you're saying. I was just saying that as the chef part of my brain is going, that's another thing that I have to factor in when I'm trying to make a balanced, you know, if I'm looking for sweet, salty, you know, acidic, now you're throwing in smoke that can easily overpower two or three, you know, two of those elements, you know?
100%. But so there's something interesting for us is like we use red oak.
Okay.
It's super mild.
Gotcha. Okay.
So even like
It really comes through on the brisket though. Like that's crazy that you said that. I would have thought post, to be honest. So fooled this one. You fooled me.
also we use it a lot because like that's what is out here.
Okay.
It's so easy for us to get. We've got our guys over at 24/7 Street Services. They hook us up, give us the best deal, and they just cut, stack, deliver all of it.
Shout out JT. Love you, JT. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
And at this point, I think to get back to your question of how it's changed, I think I've probably tried smoking every single thing since we tried that bread pudding, and I was like, all right, now I got to like throw this on there, or double smoke the Gouda, or it gave me a new tool to play with, a new toy to play with, basically.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was just using the smoke that he was using for his meat to see what it would do to other things that I'd never been able to work with, because when I was in those kitchens, the fine dining, it was very regimented, and I had to cook certain things a certain way, and I had people, even though I was a sous for big names, I still had my chef sous over my shoulder,
Right.
like just that's too long, that's too this. Being here, I can do what I want pretty much, as long as we're not wasting money or whatever. So I've just tried every scrap that you can imagine. I've thrown it on a smoker at some point, and either I love it or I freaking hate it, and just use it for something else. Or it opened me up to something that I hadn't really gotten to work with, other than smoking a piece of fish for like 4 minutes. This I can go crazy with it.
Yeah.
And having the limitation of not having ovens kind of forced me to try different things. So we've had black beans that we didn't know what to do with. So I know that you can use black beans as a flour substitute. So I've done chocolate.
Gluten-free.
Yeah. So I've done black bean chocolate muffins that you could not tell that there's any black beans in that. And then you add the smoke on top of that, and you're like, okay, that's something different that I've never had. But yeah, it's definitely opened me up to something new, which is fun, because if you've worked, if you've worked in the same industry for so long, all the tools are the same. You've used the same machines a million times. You know what they do.
Yeah.
You know how to use them. You know if something goes wrong, how to fix it. You kind of
Butter and cream.
Butter.
You kind of want, exactly. You kind of want to be thrown to the wolves a little bit, because it challenges you to do something different that you've never done before.
Well, that diner also has a certain perception of what smoke kind of tastes like. Like I hate to say it, but like that Japanese charcoal has a distinct flavor that I think instantly people are like, oh, I equate that with truffles, like it's an instant winner, it's kind of cheat code. It's MSG, in smoke form. While red oak, post oak, mesquite, all of these things have nuances, let alone the device that you're smoking it in. Because those Japanese, grills are this big. I'm only doing, like you said, and I'm only kissing it, So I applaud you being able to weave that in seamlessly, because that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever worked on an offset, until I got here, and he showed me what to do. And I mean, like I said, I've been in the kitchen since I was 13. Never worked on an offset, so I was like, cool, new toy. You know what I mean? And then my brain just started, and then he and I kind of just put it all together, and it worked.
It's a good synergy. I think probably the best representation of that from a recipe standpoint would probably be the chicken wings. Now, I know we didn't get a chance to try that, but
I told you about them, and you were like, holy hell.
Yeah. But it's an aspect of smoke. It's an aspect of the confit, duck fat, kind of confit them for a minute, and then into a fryer that is beef tallow, correct? Yeah.
Which we render from, again, our scraps.
Yeah, which is just this huge synergy, and not to be like, that's the thing, but like it's such a perfect uniformity of what y'all are creating. And I think it's so cool to kind of see that form again where y'all are at. I mean, it took me an hour and a half to get out here, which is not, I'll travel for barbecue. I'll travel for good barbecue, that is. But, this little center and not much else, holy shit. If y'all were to think about like what would be the next steps or next stages for Weaver's Barbecue within a year or something like that, what would y'all like to see? And then what would y'all like to see in 5 and 10 years? And this is the first time you've ever had a 5-year plan, especially,
For
sure.
Serious
yes,
question.
yes. Is this the first time we've had a 5-year plan? 100%. And I still haven't developed that yet. To be honest, we were trying to open a restaurant in Kenefick. That's what our dry storage building that you saw today. That was gonna be. That's why there's those lines.
The alleyways.
Yeah, that's where a line was supposed to form, and then we had the windows lining up with the food truck right there. We're gonna be doing cook to order and passing through the windows there.
Yeah, so that way people are waiting in line for their barbecue.
And there's like a break in the line right there where people are getting their cook to order stuff, and seeing Austin Midnight come out of the window and be like,
I got it.
There you go.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it right in front of people's
It's like
faces.
the sizzling fajitas through the restaurant.
right.
Like, I gotta get that now.
Or the low dessert.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Again, how do you not? You had to have read like you had. I was gonna say all these little things I keep catching.
Yeah, so I think we'll just like keep rocking with what we have right now.
Okay.
Keep pushing that, and be on the lookout. I'd say we have been on the lookout for potential like spaces that we could put, but what we've done out there in Kenefick is like really cool.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you can just do anywhere, that's not something that would be really hard and almost seem forced if we tried to recreate it. And so I really enjoy what we have going, and we live a mile away from the smoker, so that's great.
I walked to work today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since it was nice this
I walked
morning.
to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's great. That part is great, but like, if we could start getting like lines before we open, kind of thing, I don't see a reason why we would need to leave Kenefick. But if that doesn't start happening, then I think we need better frontage, honestly. Somewhere where people can barbecue sounds good.
Drive by us and actually see us.
Right. Yeah.
Because right now we're
This
like
is-
a destination spot.
Right.
Even for our town.
Even for our
Right. Yeah.
And,
Oh, okay.
For people of Dayton, they
For-
don't like driving up 1008 because it's a windy road, and
I've made the joke
It's
that
completely
like there's
black.
people in Dayton that probably don't even know we're out there. Honestly, they
Really?
might have heard about Weavers, but they've never been there. They don't know where it's at. You know what I mean? And this town is what 8,000,
8 or 9,000.
8 or 9.
and I guarantee you, there's people there. They have no idea what's happening out in Kenefick.
How fun.
They don't drive to Kenefick. What's in Kenefick?
On like by the way the birds fly, we're closer to Liberty like the city of Liberty.
Okay.
And we are to Dayton. But in order for people in Liberty to get to us, they have to drive through Dayton, which is notorious for terrible traffic problems on
Because of the
Highway
train.
90.
Oh, okay.
And then because of the train.
Well, because of the train goes this way, and right over here on the 90, the train cuts across the 90, and there's not an overpass.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And so 5 o'clock, probably right around right now, just gets stacked.
Deadlock. Yeah.
It's really hellish to drive through Dayton.
So that's just for Liberty to come out to us, like, and so that's just to speak to Jesse's point of frontage is an obstacle for us for sure.
Yeah.
And I think you and I'd mentioned it to you off camera that, man, I think that we can be tighter, as good as we are, and as confident and proud of the product that I feel that we're putting out. I think that we can be better. I think that there's room for improvement with our systems, and focusing on that incremental progress. Right, it's our battle cry. And so a year from now, I would like this to be like a Swiss watch. Like tangible goals a year from now. Definitely be tighter operationally. The 5 years from now, it'd be great to. Maybe a full sit down restaurant. I think 5 years from now,
Table service.
Yeah.
definitely.
Just let it come organically, right? Yeah. You're not going to try and force it.
We
Let it
have
come
tried to force it multiple times, and it's never worked.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so,
Just kinda-
no more of that.
The energy telling us,
It's the restaurant gods,
Chill.
Yeah.
chill, it'll come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get
focusing
a
on
bigger, proper team to help us with this one, and then move forward without kind of throwing ourselves to the wolves.
As y'all progress and as y'all have started to meet more and more people in the barbecue community, are there any guys that like they're the North Star of what barbecue is, or they are the operators that were like, holy cow, these are cool guys, whether they're long-term guys or they're some of the new kids on the
Yeah.
block?
Yeah. We have a lot of friends that we call friends now that we used to look up to. The light's going crazy.
I know, right?
Why?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's the.
But yeah,
The owner remotely telling us, hey,
he's the one making the noise behind me. Eduardo?
Speaking of which,
Yes.
thank you, Eduardo,
Yes.
For affording us the opportunity and availing the space here.
Yeah. What's the coffee shop?
So the place is called Daystown Coffee Bar. It's here on Main Street in Dayton. And Eduardo is like a really great guy. They put out incredible caffeine and coffee and tea. And it's matchas. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
And we didn't want to sit in the sun today to do this.
Yeah, it's great air conditioning.
It just turned out that he's got a soccer game today. So Chad just asked him, and he was like, "You can just have the key. You guys can do whatever you need." So thank you
huge.
for that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eduardo.
So whenever y'all are taking a trip out to Weaver's Barbecue, make sure to stop by Daystown Coffee on Main Street in Dayton, Texas.
For sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's do that, and I promise we'll get back to what you were saying. But since we're on that subject, say someone does come out here, coffee here, barbecue at Chill.
Yeah.
Anywhere else that's like you got to stop off at? Is there a spot that y'all like hitting up?
It's hard to say because we don't really get away from
I was gonna say, yeah. It's like in what free time?
literally
Connor,
like to get coffee here. Sometimes they'll drive coffee to us.
Okay.
They'll just show up and be like, "Here's some coffee, guys." So it's very rare that we get to go anywhere, especially now that it's a team of 3.
Right.
We have people in the back that help, doing porter work, dishes, and helping clean and stuff like that. But really, it's just us 3 kind of running the show, so it's pretty hard.
Everybody's laughing about the lights.
No,
Yeah,
they flicked it.
I saw that. I saw him like snap or something, and the light went.
Depending on the time of the year, if you're in the mood for crawfish, as well, I would say that the Crawfish Hideaway definitely is the spot in town that I would recommend.
Yeah, they're great people too.
Yeah, for sure. Brooke and Brittany and their whole family are really great operators. They have a great team over there.
About us.
Yeah.
All right, so getting back to the kind of barbecue guys that you've met and the people that you're looking.
So have had a ongoing like message thread between us and Space City. Logan Glenn over there at Space City. Spacecraft Barbecue, those guys are awesome.
Yeah, Obi came out last week.
Yeah, Obi came out last week. Declan Hyde, Rose Myers, Chicano's Barbecue. All of those guys that I just mentioned we've definitely
we've looked up to them, and now we've worked next to them and literally are friends with them.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's like, I was just watching all of your videos the other day, and now you're texting me. You know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy.
And I think at a state level, right, like expanding out from the Houston area, I think
it's just locally.
I think how
Lewis did
for sure.
Yeah.
Leroy and Lewis.
I got to get out there. I haven't been yet, so.
I haven't been either, but I've seen so many. We were on their Patreon for the longest.
Really?
Yeah.
How cool.
And so watched so much of their stuff. Good on you guys for making it so far up on that list.
Yeah, for sure.
A huge inspiration, what they're able to do, what they were able to do out of a small food truck.
Right.
And with where they are now with a full sit-down restaurant, what an honor it would be to have even some of the success that they've experienced. And, with our intentions, with Greg's finer dining, technical know-how, and Jesse's ability to smoke meats, I think that there's potentially a pathway for us to follow, especially with how we envision growing our kitchen. With some of the tools that we have back there, I think that we can do some really, really cool stuff in finer dining and apply it to barbecue.
Yeah, we've already seen some of it, which is incredible.
I think that I draw a lot of inspiration. I think what B4 Barbecue and Boba does with their social media and their plating, I think is incredible. I've never tried their food, but at least with how they promote their space and how specifically the pictures that they take, I want that platter every single time. And so I don't know them as humans, but interacting with them in a social media way, definitely an inspiration for sure.
Yeah. To go back to Leroy and Lewis, Chud's Barbecue YouTube channel he's been such a teacher. So Chud's, I think we went over this earlier, right? But man, so watching Leroy and Liz back in the food truck, whenever watching those videos where they're comfying the beef cheeks, and that really paved the way for a lot of the stuff that we're up to now, like the carnitas, for example. Cheddar was like, dude, we need to do these carnitas like this, dude, and he did it, dude. He executed, and it came out great. And the crazy thing is, when we first did carnitas, it didn't hit. We had them on the menu for a whole entire week, and not one person ordered it. Yeah. And we were just sitting there like, dude, you got to try this. Like,
best bite on the menu.
Couldn't give it away,
No.
Yeah.
And so
we've had to do that with a few things.
Okay.
Yeah.
because
they didn't know what it was, or
when we first went to the menu with turkey breast, nobody ordered it for 2 weeks. Seriously. And so, and that's where we started that was the very first thing that we learned, that the power of samples. And so seriously, because proteins are expensive, didn't want to just give some away, but it's like, y'all gotta try this, right? And so handing out samples, like, okay, cool, let me get a half a pound of that. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. And so building like little taco sliders, right? And so just little things like, here, try this one bite. This is our carnitas pulled pork. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Right.
And then especially like what was that? We just sampled out, they were julienne tricolored carrots. Right, julienne tricolored carrots, and then made what was the sauce that you made for those?
It's like the seaweed salad dressing.
Okay.
It was very good.
And then we used the CVAC chamber vac machine to just break down all the cell walls,
Right.
so that it had like a texture of a seaweed. So they uncooked carrots completely, non-pickled,
Yeah.
Like, the only pickling they had was them in a vac seal bag.
Right.
Yeah.
How
And
funny.
then we just ran that through the CVAC. Jesse ran it through like 5 times. And it got that same texture, but it's carrots.
That's funny.
Because we're nowhere near somewhere we can get seaweed right now.
Right. And so we sampled those out. That was, I think, last week, because we're trying to figure out where do these make sense on the menu, right? By themselves.
I told you something that we have in the pipeline that I didn't really want to talk about.
All right.
No, this is fine.
Oh,
This
okay.
is fine.
All
but
right,
what
all
comes after this?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we want to keep that on the
And
rack.
so, and
Future
so,
episode.
Yeah,
You know?
and
Well,
so,
let's get a photo.
Stay tuned on the Insta.
Yeah.
but specifically those carrots, you know, at the window, you know, whether it's guests that I've known for a while or people that are brand new, it's like, here, what do you think of this? Like, does this make sense? Do you enjoy eating this? How do you envision this being a garnish on something?
Right.
And that feedback from our guests is invaluable. We had somebody come to the window earlier this week that had really critical feedback about our potato salad. And we solicit that. I want that. And so going back to the relationship that I have with guests, it's invaluable, that sort of feedback, especially as where we are growing still. We're still, I would say, very early in our life cycle. And so as we continue to iterate and develop not only our systems, but our recipes, you know, the feedback from our guests, you know, this menu is a creative process for us, but we're feeding people. And so what do they want to eat? And
Right.
how do they feel about the food that we're putting out? Because, you know, that's who we're feeding. Those are our guests. And so I think it's really important to meet people where they are, and bring them, right, and educate,
And show them stuff.
and show them along. But also, hey, what do you think of this? Can you envision this? And so,
Y'all have kind of bum rushed this area with some wild shit, you
Yes.
know? So it's like, y'all kind of came at it like, here's the fucking fire hose, you know, like be ready. That speaks to volumes on, because you've got to talk them through it, which takes a while. And I mean, can get really frustrating. You got to execute on it. And then you got to still have the things that they love that, you know, so it's a great combo.
we didn't have
You know,
Fine
we
line.
didn't have loaded potatoes on the menu for a very long time. We drew a line at potatoes. Jesse and I did, because I think for a while there, things felt really out of control for us. And so to have some control over something,
That's why we got fries on the menu.
yeah, we had fries on the
That's why we got
that's
fries.
why we had fries on the
why,
menu, was
yeah.
because
We're not doing baked potatoes.
I don't want to hear about potatoes.
it was like one
Here's your
week we
potato.
sold out a load of potatoes, and then every day that week there was somebody that showed up later in the day and yelled at us for not having a potato.
Right.
And so it was like, yo, what do you want me to do? Get a potato? Like that. and so we took them off the menu, and then it's like, this is stupid. What we're doing this for out of ego.
Literally, when I got there, I was like, we should do baked potatoes. And Jesse was like, no, we're not doing potatoes. I was
fuck
like,
that.
why? He was like, because people always complain, because we run out of them. There's nowhere in this tiny truck to really hold them. I was like, let me figure
Plenty
out
of
that part. Like, that's part of my job, is let us figure it out. And then it worked, and we figured out how to hold them correctly, how to have enough of them. We still run out every day.
We still run out every day. But.
Because we just don't have the space on purpose. Yeah.
But
To that 1-star Yelp reviewer. Yeah, we did it just for you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
But just to speak to the power of sampling, and that, you know, kind of where I was going with, like, it's as much for us as it is for our guests, right? And we have to meet people where they are. It's really important to us to not only educate people, but also to find out where they are and what they want to eat, and then execute that immaculately.
I know we've gone, I think it says almost an hour and a half now, and it feels like we're just scratching the surface with you guys, you know, which is crazy. But I appreciate y'all taking so much time out of your day. I know that y'all,
Delightful.
you know, shut down and everything, and you know, really did so much, man. It means a lot that y'all, you know, really wanted to do this. And
Well,
again,
it means a lot to us that you would want to take your time, you know, to come do this as well.
I love this, you know.
And we love Jose, so we're just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
Jose
absolutely.
is the best.
Oh, you need us to do something? No problem, man.
Yeah, got you.
Anything for Jose, man.
But I really appreciate y'all opening up so much. I hope a lot of people can take away from a lot of different things from this. You know, I really feel like I'm talking to some veterans in the space, you know.
Thank you, Chef.
I will say that I think that the barbecue community as a whole are so welcoming, and you guys embody that as well, you know, from the customer service side to how the food is being made to you not trying to throw your ego into what you're cooking and things, you know? Yes. So it's incredible to see y'all embrace that. It's incredible to see y'all where you're at from where you were. And you guys aren't going to have a bigger cheerleader than me rooting for y'all.
Thank you.
Seriously.
So much. Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
Hey, likewise. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we are going to take you up on that. You're going to come help us cook.
Yes, we got that. Yep, that's right. Off camera, we got something special. We got super cool. Hell yeah, we're doing that. That's right. Oh yeah.
Nah, any day, yeah. Whenever you're ready for round 2 on this conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag Jose into that too. I'll
for sure.
I'll fill him in later, but yeah,
we'll tell him off camera.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll be a big. We'll do a big event.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
That'll be fun. Again, thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Guys, like and subscribe. Do all the good stuff. 5 stars, 5 stars. Appreciate it.